like my publisher, and then I have to be the only Indigenous woman there, trying to find that worthiness piece to say I am allowed and I'm entitled to be here, to take up space here. So that in-between medicine really speaks to me as healing rainbow woman. And as I say my name out to you today, I'm going to invoke all of your beautiful medicine that you bring to me, that you bring to each other in this community. It's called She Is Wise. We are here because we are celebrating wisdom. So let's invoke the wisdom. We're going to start with invoking the wisdom of our ancestors, which we felt the whole time we've been here. The wisdom of your lived experience. The wisdom that you have gained through walking through pain and challenge. This is the wisdom that we are here to celebrate. And we're celebrating that in community. So as this in-betweener, and as part of the Crane clan, I often find myself bringing two communities, or three communities, or many communities together. Indigenous folks and non-Indigenous folks. And again, sometimes I walk in these two worlds and I think, where exactly do I belong? So I feel like part of building community is to return us back to that inherent belonging that we all long for as human beings. We all long for that feeling of belonging, and I hope that today you will be feeling a little bit more like you belong. Like you belong to the land. Like you belong to one another. Like you belong as that dream that your ancestors carried for you. That is my hope of what you walk away with today. So community means something different for everyone. And I like to ask the question, we have our definition maybe in our minds, right? I love to drop into our bodies, into our spirits, into our hearts. What does community feel like? What does community feel like to you? Is it a warmth in your heart? Is it a resonance with someone? Is it that feeling like, hey, I know you from some other place, some other time? What does community feel like to you? And that's my question as we start. Because there's been so much fracturing and splitting done by the systems to try to break apart our communities. And they've tried, but we stand here as these brilliant medicine keepers and Indigenous women, and we say, no, you will not fracture us. We are remending, we are retending, and we are coming back home to that belonging together. And my vision is a vision of lateral kindness, lateral hope. I know many of us have experienced lateral violence. So how do we infuse that belonging by doing our own internal work so that we can create communities of this kindness, hope, and walking with our 7 grandfather teachings? That's my vision, at least. So this is my first time using these. Okay. So that's me when I was 3. I think I'm eating a popsicle. And when I was 3, I was the most shy, sensitive being ever. I dropped out of kindergarten because I couldn't handle school. And of course, there's some generational trauma associated with that. But I felt everything. I'd walk into a room and everybody's emotions would be felt in my heart. I would move through life wondering, oh my goodness, I can feel that sadness, what's going on? I was very shy. The teachers were always like, why isn't Asha talking? We know she knows the answer. We know she knows the answer, why isn't she speaking? And I was enormously sensitive. And the world and the systems told me there was something wrong with me. They shamed all those things about me for a very, very long time. People would say, oh my gosh, you're crying again. Why are you so deeply feeling? They would shame all of these things out of me. And I was a dreamer. When I was this age, I would tell my mom, do you know what I envisioned last night? You know what I imagined last night? So I was a seer and a dreamer, and spirit would come to me, and all of this was shamed out of me. I walked through life. I moved as this being, and at 17, I was diagnosed with lupus. If you've read my book, you know this. So I was diagnosed with lupus. And as a deeply feeling sensitive person, that felt like a really big diagnosis. And at 17, something woke up in me. It was the call of my ancestors. It was the call of something deeper, calling me back to the land saying, these medications, while they're so helpful for so many, they're not going to be the things that are going to help you, because right now as a sensitive being, they're going to make you sick. So I returned back to the land and the plants and the spirit world to help me to heal. I'm still healing. That never ends. But then now at 47, I've turned that medicine of sensitivity, shy, deeply feeling, being that little girl into seer, introspective, intuitive medicine woman. Those gifts, as I walk through a lifetime of being in a lot of chronic pain and a lot of physical pain, I've learned so much. It's been really hard at times. That rain has been all around me, but I've turned that into the rainbow and into my medicine gifts. And I do believe that we all have the capacity to do this, which is why I wrote the book, You Are the Medicine. So, what is your medicine that you carry? What are those natural gifts that you came here with? It's such a brilliant question. And so many folks come to me and be like, I don't have medicine, I don't know what you're talking about. But if you sat with a friend or a loved one, and you felt them after you left, and you felt uplifted by them, or you felt heard by them, or you felt loved by them, their medicine influenced you. Those people that walk into a room and you see them just smile, and their laugh is just so contagious, that's their natural medicine. This matters. And this develops as Indigenous women, I think, through the resilient hearts that we carry, through the warrior spirits that we carry. We are still here. We have developed an enormous amount of medicine that lives in our bones, in our blood, in our waters, and we are here remembering it. We are here to remember it. So, your sacred medicine. It is a mixture of Creator's vision for you. So, Creator had this great vision and said, oh my goodness, beautiful spark of light. You came into this world as this beautiful spark of light. You came from the stars. You are stardust, beautiful one. I see you. I see who you are meant to be. I see your long journey of evolution, going through challenges and hardships, but returning home to who you are. This is your beautiful medicine, and I'm going to envision that for you. And as you walk through life, you're going to go through a remembering. You're going to forget lots, because the systems will tell you who they think you are, and they'll try to shame those natural medicine parts of you, but I am here to hold that vision. So your medicine has Creator's vision in it. You are that sparkle of divine light that was birthed, mixed with your lived experience, which is a mixture of anything you walk through and move through in the world, the courses you've taken, the books you've read, the encounters you've had, the relationships you've been in. All of those things that you've lived through make up your medicine, of course, mixed with the pain alchemy. We are all alchemists, or we have the ability to be alchemists, which to me means we can evolve our pain and our trauma into giftedness and healing. It's a choice, of course, and sometimes I be sitting there going, I don't want to do that work, I don't want to heal through that, that's really hard, and I want to stay here. But we have the option to turn that pain into soul gold that we can then share as wisdom with others. So a combination of Creator's vision, lived experience, and your pain alchemy. So if we are all stardust, if we are all made of this beautiful star nation energy, and Creator saw this, how can we remember this? How can we remember this? So we're going to just do a little practicing of that. You are a woman who holds deep, deep medicine. This is so true because I've seen thousands of beings who hold this medicine, and it is so beautiful to see people remember. So what we're going to do, and I know you've been doing a lot of sitting and a lot of listening, and I really believe that we access the memories from our bones and our bloods and our sacred waters when we do some imagining. And I think it's so interesting that even for my sons, I have a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old, and imagination just isn't valued the way it should be. Imagination is a re-indigenized way of learning and knowing and remembering. Imagination is the way we connect to spirit, our spirit, and beyond. So we're gonna put a little music on, and we're gonna connect a little bit to the medicine, those pieces and parts. It's only gonna be about 45 seconds, a minute maybe. And I know it's hard to pay attention sometimes, but let's just try. So we're gonna close our eyes if we can, if that's accessible to you. And I'm gonna invite you to breathe a little bit deeper and maybe notice how shallow you might have been breathing. So take a deep breath. You are a woman who holds deep medicine. You are a woman who holds deep medicine. And today we're going to invite all of the ancestors, the animal guides, the beings of light to be here in this room. We've had opening prayers, so all of the beings are here. I'd like you to feel into that. Feel into the support of the land and the sky. Feel into the support of the sacred directions. Feel into the support of all that are here for you. You are a woman who holds deep medicine. And today we call on ego. We call on that great ego in BTC to flow around this room, to come through this room. And today ego says, glorious one, I am bringing that energy of remembering. I am going to bring you back to that time where Creator dreamed you into being. Creator dreamed you into being as a spark of divine. Let us remember that we are stardust. And you're going to breathe into that remembering. Feeling the starriness of your spirit and your mind and your heart. Feeling the starriness flowing through your waters. And Creator brings you back to that spark. And they give you one word that reminds you of why you are here, who you are here to be, and you listen. And then Turtle begins to walk up on the earth. That beautiful turtle medicine walks by our feet. And Turtle says to you today, everything you have walked through, everything you have learned, everything you know, all the wisdom you've gathered from the elders and the grandmothers, all your lived experience. Turtle moves that up to the soles of your feet, rushing it up into your body. Breathe that in. Activate it now. Soaring with eagle, rooted with turtle, and last but not least, we have gorgeous Wabash Cache deer medicine that surrounds this circle. And today, deer says, I am here now to turn your pain, to alchemize your pain and your challenges into your soul gold. And deer moves this pink energy around your body and asks you, what is the biggest story, what is the biggest challenge that you have moved through and got to the other side of? Where is your resilience? And you're going to breathe that in. We have eagle, we have turtle, and we have deer. And you're going to feel those three medicines now infusing and weaving into you. And we're going to return to the remembering. Again, what is the word, what is the energy that you are here to be? Breathe it in. Let it flow through your stardust, and then open your eyes when you're ready. Okay. So I got love. I'm going to do a book signing there so you can tell me what your word was. I got love, and I can feel that. And something that I love to think about is, what is the presence that I'm bringing into a room, right? Because we're all responsible for our energy. So if I bring in the energy of love, I'm interacting with all your energies. And imagine a world where all of us were rooted and embodied in the energy that we are here to bring, imagine if we were confident in holding that. If I come in a room and say, I'm holding love, and this person's like, I'm holding wisdom, I'm holding hope, and we are all rooted and embodied that, I think that type of community would be my dream. So that's the community that would foster lateral hope and kindness and beauty. So hold that word. And if you didn't get one, that's okay. It might come in your dream time tonight. But be open to receiving that. Your medicine. Okay. So we are on the precipice of Makhluk their moon, which is happening tonight-ish tomorrow. So we are in their moon medicine season. And their medicine has been a teacher of mine for a very long time because I'm not good at resting. Who's good at resting? Anybody in here good at resting? Oh, wow, we're good. This is a tough one, right? This is a tough one. And again, we come by it honestly because the systems will tell us you are only valuable if you're productive. Your value is based on how much you do, how hard you work, all your achievements, how hard you hustle. This is the moon that says, can you unwind from all of that learning and all of those systemic harm, really, frankly, that says that. Can you unwind from them and know that rest is the only way you build capacity? It's so important, right? It's so important. I did a journey once, and I thought, why am I so resistant to rest? And I had this belief deep inside of me that when I rest, I will die. If I rest, I will die. It was that deep, that deeply ingrained. And maybe you have something like that too, from generations, right? Because our ancestors couldn't rest necessarily. So I always say, I'm resting for my ancestors who couldn't. Because I think that's a really beautiful thought. So their moon asks us to find the courage to share our gifts and our truth. It's an invitation to stand our ground. It's a way to find our sacred no. There asks us to walk with boundaries. And then there asks us to feel worthy of resting. Worthy of resting. So that is the energy of this time that we're heading into. So by tomorrow when the full moon hits us, you're going to be really aligned with this bear moon because you're going to know what to do. Okay, so number one. This card is from my Sacred Medicine Oracle deck. This is the Shaker card. So this card is the Shaker and the Truth card. Now, what I know to be true and what I value so much about Indigenous women is that when the truth is spoken, it comes out like fire, right? Even an elder, when they speak to us as the truth, it hits us like fire. Courage to share our gifts and our truth. That is something we are all being called to do at this time more than ever before. More than ever before. And this morning, Jody spoke about being an in-betweener, right? And to be an in-betweener where we're not just falling into systemic ways and aligning with systemic harm, we have to find the courage to share the truth, our truth, and rattle and shake things up. We have to be the shaker. We have to be the shaker. And sometimes when we're the shaker, it's so terrifying. The times that I've had to be the shaker, I have literally shaken in my body, or shook in my body. It has been terrifying. So how do we find the courage to share our gifts and truth? Their moon asks us to do this. Their moon asks us to do this. So we're going to do something, and I just purchased this beautiful shaker from a friend somewhere here. I'm so grateful for the shaker. So what happens, right, when there's truth that's coming up? I believe that it starts on Mother Earth. So it starts on Mother Earth, and we feel the earth beneath us. And the earth is shaking right now. The fires, the floods, all of the things that are happening, Mother Earth shakes. And as Indigenous women, we are the closest to listening to that shaking. We can hear it so brilliantly because we are the waters, right? We are the land. We can feel the shaking. We can feel the rage beneath our feet literally as we walk. So we're walking, we're hearing the shaking, we're feeling the shaking. It starts to rumble beneath our feet. I'm going to use this for a second. It starts to rumble beneath our feet. We hear it, we feel it, we know it. It starts to shake us up. Then it moves up and we think, oh my goodness, there's something that's rising up inside of me. I'm feeling like I need to find the courage to do something, to speak about something, to stand up for people who don't have the voice to share. Then we feel it maybe in our womb center. In our wombs as Indigenous women, we feel the layers and layers of all the missing and murdered Indigenous folks. We can hear their cries in our womb and our waters because we're so intimately connected. So we hear that and we feel that, and that rumbles there. And then that moves up and up and up into our hearts. And we think, oh my goodness, I'm so connected to Mother Earth's heartbeat. I know what that drum beat sounds like. That drum beat exists within me. I can feel that now, and that's initiating something. So we've got the earth rumbling, we've got our wombs, we have our hearts. Then it moves up, tries to get into our throat, and something stops. We think, I have all this rumbling, I have a truth to share, I have this fire within me. And then what happens? The space between our heart and our throat is our high heart. This is a space of self-worth. The space of self-worth is something that has been really taken from us through colonization and through the harm that has happened to our people. The self-worth space is a space where I see folks get the most stuck. We get blocked there. We know we need to share this courage and truth, and then we get blocked in moving it into our throat. We can share it out to the world. We are worthy and entitled to being here and sharing and speaking and being heard. We are entitled to being heard. I've heard a lot of talks about being invisible. I know I've felt that so many times over my journey. That is that part here, that self-worth, to say, I am visible, I am entitled to take up space, all of my space here, right? And it takes courage, it takes a heck of a lot of courage to do that. So we feel the rumbling and we feel that all the way up into this area, and then it's like we need to clear it. So we're gonna do a little bit of clearing today. So the first question I have for you is, how worthy do you feel? I had a medicine person ask me this once, do you feel worthy of friendship? Yes. Do you feel worthy of love? Yes. Do you feel worthy of abundance? Yes. Do you feel worthy of health? No. That was where I stopped. No, I don't. I've had to work, and I still probably not there, had to work pretty hard to feel worthy of being healthy. And that's really deeply ingrained. So where's your edge? Where do you feel like, oh, I've got that one, but I don't know if I have that one as deeply? Where's your worthiness edge? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our healer hands, we all are healers, you are the medicine, we're gonna rub them together, warm them up a little bit, and you're gonna place them upon your high heart, the space between your heart and your throat. So just place them there, and imagine somebody that you love so deeply, or maybe it's a pet, maybe it's somebody who's passed on. Just imagine that, and you're gonna infuse that area with that love, with that gorgeous love. Breathe that in, breathe that in. And we ask ourselves again, where do I not feel worthy? Where do I not feel worthy? Okay, we can put our hands down. So remember I said we need to be the shaker, right? We need to be the shaker. So to open yourselves up a little bit, we're gonna do a couple of things. Yesterday, I was in one of the sessions and I heard, in order to meet our communities in a little bit more of a healed way, we need to work on our nervous systems. We need to come into a settled nervous system state, which is impossible to be in all the time. But I believe so much in nervous system work when we are being healers or helpers or listeners. I think it's so important. So we're going to do a little bit of nervous system work, and if you don't want to, that's okay. I'm not going to thank you. But I promise you that you'll feel a little bit more spacious after this, okay? A little more connected to work. So the first thing we're going to practice is called the anti-laugh. Maybe you've done this before, because, the anti-laugh. And I know what's to be true is my aunties have the greatest laughs. I'm now an auntie, I gotta practice my laugh a little more. But they have the greatest laughs, like just the greatest. So think about like your favorite auntie and your favorite laugh that you've ever heard. Think about how that sounds. Now we're gonna practice it. So what's this gonna do? This is gonna open up our high heart. So it's gonna look something like this. Okay? We're all gonna do that. We're gonna do that together. We're gonna do it 3 times. do the anti-laugh. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Give it one last go here. Okay, yes. Feel that laughter opening up that space. That was great. The best anti-laughs ever. Okay. So with your anti-laugh open and your beautiful high heart open, I want you to feel the opening of your heart center. The opening of your high heart center, okay? This is where we're gonna make space. This is where we're gonna make healing. So now we're gonna do the anti-shake.
Anti-shake.
Okay, so get on up. Stand on up. Okay, so the anti-shake starts with shaking our hips. Let's try that. Okay, we're gonna shake our shoulders. We're gonna shake our hair. And now we're gonna shake our whole body. Let's go.
Shake like a tree. Shake like a tree.
Oh, shake. Shake. Okay. Good practicing. Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna gather up all of our stuck energy. So you're gonna take your hands, you're gonna gather it up, you're gonna scrunch up so like you're stretch your cheeks, stretch your nose, take a deep breath, and then as you exhale, you're gonna do a really good shake. Like, shake those hips, shake those shoulders, shake those knees.
I feel like Elvis.
Shake. One more time, gather it up. And shake your arms one more time. Shake your hands. Good. Okay. Hands back on your high heart. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Take a deep breath. Exhale. One more deep breath. One hand on heart, one hand on belly. Close your eyes. Feel into the spaciousness in your body. Has anything changed? Feel the laughter and the joy of the aunties. Feel the remembering and the love surrounding you. We can open our eyes. You're going to tap one more time on that high heart. One more time. Tap. With the intention of all of the fire moving all the way up and we're going to open our mouths. Beautiful. Okay. Imagining the truth coming out. Beautiful. You can sit back down. Thanks for the shaking. When you want to make more space in your system for anything, you can do a little shaking. You can do a little shaking. If you're feeling nervous or anxious or panicky, do a little shaking. I do it with my kids all the time and it really helps. Okay, so we have the anti-laugh and the joy and our self-love. Courage to share our gifts and truths. This is the first step of healing. Number 2. Invitation to stand our ground. So, as I spoke about how I walk between these two worlds, I have to stand in a lot of spaces that are non-Indigenous. This card is from my Sacred Medicine Oracle deck and it's called Sacred Medicine, Finding Your Sacred Medicine. Standing our ground, what does that mean? If we, our land, and if we are deeply connected and we are fully entitled to be here, how would we stand? How do we take up space? How do we practice that? This was really hard for me because I had this feeling that I wasn't worthy necessarily of being in the publishing world, or the only Indigenous person in a very, very white publishing house, and it was terrifying. And last year I was invited to be on their stage. It was a stage that I had dreamed about for 20 years. I really, really wanted to be on that stage. So I had to practice standing my ground on that stage. And that was kind of terrifying. It was kind of terrifying, but I did it. So Bear Medicine says, how are you going to stand your ground? And the way that I did this was I practiced my warrior pose. And we all have one. We all have one. So my warrior pose is very much like, and I stomp it out and I stand there. So what is your warrior pose? And standing our ground can be somatically in our bodies, literally like we're taking a stand. We're taking a stand, right? And I think as Indigenous women, this is so important because we have a lot of stands to take. It can be exhausting. But when we are fully rooted in that stand, change happens. Huge change can happen. So beautiful ones, if you had a warrior pose, you don't have to stand up again, but if you had a warrior pose, how would it feel? Even a warrior seated pose. How would your warrior seated pose feel? How would you feel to be in your warrior self? We all have a warrior self within. Every Indigenous person has a warrior self. We come by it so honestly from our ancestors, right? How would your warrior self feel? How would you stand? And how would you take up space? So that's what Bear asks of us. And I think it's a beautiful question. Okay. Number 3. Finding our sacred no. Who is really great at saying no? Yeah.
Better. Working on it.
That's wonderful. So we have some no medicine people here. We have some no medicine people here that are really great at it. Okay. So for those of you who need a little bit of help, and maybe the people who can say no, they've got this down, but your sacred no lives within your body. Your sacred no lives within your body in really powerful ways. I don't know about you, but when I have bypassed my sacred no, when I have stomped on it, not listened to it, bypassed it, ignored it, because it comes a lot, then life blows up in my face. And that's happened a lot. So I'll be like, oh, my gut hurts around that decision. Oh, it's okay, I won't listen to that. 2 weeks later, something blows up. Or, oh, that really gave me a bit of a headache to say yes to that. And we know, our bodies always know. So for me, my sacred no, my lymph nodes hurt, and I get a feeling of oppression in my chest, like somebody's stomping on my back, or I can't breathe. So take a moment to think about it. When you have a request come your way, how does your body inform you about your sacred no? Maybe it's an upset tummy, maybe it's a headache, maybe it's just a feeling. But our bodies are so wise. So Bear Medicine during this time says, how can you find where your sacred no is, and how can you start to listen to it? How can you begin to listen to it in those ways? And you know what? There's no shame here, because I've bypassed it many times and I've learned every time. So we will continue to bypass that no, but it'll get less and less, right? We'll get stronger and more resilient to start listening more and more. Now I know that I just don't have the capacity to say yes to everything. And this is coming from the biggest people pleaser you'll ever meet, I think. I wanted to say yes. I was a yes person for so long, until my body said you can't do that anymore. And our bodies, well, for me, mine's very sensitive to that, so our bodies will stop us. How many times have you been stopped where you just have to be lie flat on the couch because you can't keep going? You know, your body knows. So find your sacred no. What is your sacred no? Let's just ask our body right now, really quickly. When my body wants to say no, you can close your eyes for a second. Beautiful body, what is my sign? What is my sign? Okay, open our eyes. So that is another teaching of Bear that is so potent at this time. And maybe tomorrow with Bear Moon, you can start practicing it. You can start practicing that. No, it is sacred. Okay, walking with boundaries. So, boundaries. We hear about boundaries all the time. And boundaries is such a beautiful teaching